Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Unscripted. Today I am joined with Dean Heckler. Dean, how's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Not too bad at all. Good to see you. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
number
for having
two, tell us a little bit about Heckler Design. You guys have been a great partner for quite a while now. We love the stuff that you guys make. We're glad to partner with you, but tell us a little bit about Heckler and how you got started.
Oh, wow. I think we got started in 2000. I got started in 2007, 2008 with a computer desk product. That was a residential computer desk, very modern design, all steel construction. That went well for a few years. Then the iPad came out and I saw it as a business tool. And I thought really there should be commercial grade mounts and stands for iPad that had a design aesthetic. I created a product called Windfall. It was a secure stand for iPad, and it was the right product at the right time.
Yeah.
Square, Shopify, all those companies picked it up as a hardware standard, and that pulled us into the point of sale market and payments and things like that. And then sometime in 2016, we noticed that a lot of our resellers were AV companies.
Sure.
And I was like, well, why are AV companies buying point of sale iPad stands? Let's get some of those on the phone. At the time, it was the phone. And talk to them about what they're using our hardware for. And they were using them for controllers in meeting rooms and on lecterns and schedulers outside of meeting rooms. And a lot of the products at the time weren't designed for those use cases.
Mm-hmm.
And we just said, hey, you must not like the cord sticking out the side because that's where the credit card reader is supposed to go. And, oh, it's fine. It's fine. I said, well, we can make special products just for this use case. And the level of appreciation in the pro AV market for, oh, wow, that'd be great. So we really started making special products just for the AV market. And it's just a great industry, great focus. They're very vocal about what's missing from the industry and what they'd like to see. And that just creates a lot of great creative challenges for us. Today, we just completed our own headquarters building in Phoenix, just near the airport. And so we have all of our manufacturing and design and marketing under one roof. So we're based in Phoenix. All the products are made in Phoenix. So it's all TAA compliant, made in USA.
That's awesome.
Not hardware.
That's great. Back in the day when the iPad came out, I think first everyone was confused. Like, no one's going to buy this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they were wrong on that. But it started getting inserted or used in all sorts of situations, in probably not even situations where it would last a solid 8 hours with the display running, right? We've all
Right.
been to that already. But it was really smart of you to kind of jump into that market because there was really nothing available, or not much that was available at the right price point. And to your point about credit card readers hanging off the side and falling off and breaking, imagine the 3.5 millimeter jack, breaking in the headphone jack as well as lightning. Or actually, it was 32 pin when we started, right? It was a 32 pin dock connector. But that was really smart coming in there because those tablets are still in use all over the place. And I walk into a restaurant like a Potbelly's in Chicago, and there's this whole line of iPads just sitting there, just waiting to fall and get broken. So there's just a lot of opportunity in a lot of those spaces.
Yeah, any fast moving market, it's, the hardware exists. There just needs to be an app developer. So we like being where technology is moving very fast. And so wherever there's an innovative use of technology, it's usually something we can support really well.
So you started on the client side, so iPads, devices getting tethered properly and secured for use. But then you got into video. So talk about video, because obviously we've had a lot of stands that we use from yours. By the way, I also like the Shelf XL. That's fantastic. Just a great product for a webcam manufacturer like Logitech. Like there was one point I think I had like 9 or 10 webcams all mounted to the top because it was great for testing. I think.
Oh, I know what you're.
Yeah, is that
the camera shelf up above the top. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's a great product. But talk about how you got into video, because we obviously do a lot now with video in terms of video cameras and conferencing equipment. Because that'd be great to talk about.
It was, I think the origin there was I have a passion for doing some residential things. So, I wanted to do a minimal TV stand for flat screens. And we created that product, put it out, and thinking it would be a popular residential product. And it was instead a popular product for commercial business. They were buying them to build lounge spaces for employees, and hotels were buying them to just float flat screens in front of sofas. And then naturally executives would walk past the cool looking TV stand in the employee lounge and wonder why their AV carts in the building didn't look anything as cool as that. And so within a month of putting out the TV stand, we were getting calls from AV teams at corporations saying, my CEO wants to know if you're doing a full-size AV cart with compatibility with, at the time, PTZ cameras and component builds. And so that was just a natural extension. And we were already working on that. And when we brought that out, it was very popular. That was back in 2017. And we're just building kind of a erector set of a minimalist heavy-duty steel cart for AV teams to build componentized video systems. And yeah, that product line's been rolling for 7 years now, and people really like it.
Now, I want to ask you about the new line, but before we get there, let's talk about ADA compliance, because you've got a couple products that meet those requirements, which I was surprised and really glad, because there are a lot of customers that are kind of going to. So talk about that line as to how you're building this product, because I think that's a really important topic as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion about accessibility and or how do you appropriately create an environment that is accessible to all and make sure that, from a technical perspective, you're reaching ADA compliance just to be safe and frankly, not be sued in a lot of cases. So we hear very specific, again, about a vocal audience. They're very specific about wanting ADA compliance. And so from the get-go of any design of a new product, we're flipping through the ADA specifications and interpreting them and debating them and just saying, so it's always a constraint in our design and a desire, hey, if that's ultimately an added feature of the product, that's definitely something we should strive for, modify the design to achieve. But there's a lot of confusion about when a setup is ADA compliant and when it's not. And to just build the solution into a product and say, if you install this product, and up to a 75-inch display above this product, you will be compliant. We've done the hard work. We've had the internal debates. We've talked to facilities managers who also know their requirements. And when we design, often we show designs in progress to clients and say, hey, will this solve your issue? Will this make all the stakeholders in your organization happy? But from products that mount to the wall, mid-room products, there's all different rules. I mean, with our lectern line, for instance, before we started designing any lectern, we looked at all other lecterns on the market and kind of evaluated what their evolution must have been. Oh, this lectern design must have started long before people cared about ADA compliance. And then ADA came around and, this is how this particular company dealt with adding ADA compliance. And it might look like an afterthought or an add-on. And our approach is really now, what is the one experience that looks good and is a great experience for everyone? It's not a secondary experience or something like that. Yeah. So it becomes kind of a crusade at some point to be like, we get a lot of requests to do things, and sometimes we say, no, we can't do that because it just wouldn't be ADA compliant.
Well, they're beautiful products. I mean, when I first saw them, I'm like, wow, this is a great idea. And then I'm like, it's ADA compliant. I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. It was designed with that in mind to your point, not an afterthought. And this is a very difficult area to navigate, I will say, because I remember maybe it was Infocom, maybe 2 years ago, I know we built an angle mount for Tap Scheduler. It's like, the display that goes outside the conference room for reservations and stuff like that. And we were trying to figure out what the right height was. So of course we go online, we start Googling, and then it's between 32 inches and 48. I'm like, that's a big difference. Just think about like how much range that is because 48 inches it could be too high. If you are in a wheelchair, that's too high, especially at an angle, because it's going to be facing, kind of the ceiling almost. So we had to kind of go back and forth and think it through before we actually install it. But there's just a lot of room for interpretation. So what you've done is you've made it easy. You've given everyone the easy button. Because in that way, you know what size display you're going to put in, what kind of credenza, it's not going to be in the way, but they can move around, and then it's at the right height, most importantly. So that's actually great. I didn't think about that until you mentioned it, but that's actually really great.
And we have a direct pipeline to the team that designed the product. So the little chat bubble on our website, that's a direct pipeline through customer service directly to the design team. And every day, multiple interesting questions come up. It's, we didn't necessarily think about that piece of equipment and let's draw this up in CAD and get them a 3-dimensional diagram of what they need to do. It's never ending. And it's a great constraint. We love constraints. It's a great guideline to think, we were just thinking about standing folks in the first 5 minutes of a design. And we're like, no, that's not going to be something that can be made into a product.
That is a great thing about our AV community. They're very vocal. Right? They'll tell you exactly, and customers for that matter. So it's great that you actually have that pipeline to actually talk directly with the customer and get feedback. So at Infocom, you had a whole slew of new products. I think they're all toolless design, and they look beautiful. They obviously, from the confidence monitor stands all the way to the ground, all the way to dual. I don't know if you do a triple, but I definitely saw the dual. So talk about
there's requests, but
is it a request? So I'm not making stuff up. So talk about these new products, because they look really fantastic.
Well, thank you. Going back to 2017, that was a cart built for builds in 2017, our original Heckler AV cart, and componentized builds were the only builds back then. So add your speaker bar, your camera, your Nook, 5 other devices, integrate them all, and then make it all look tidy. And that's what the original cart line was for. Also back then, we did a study, and about 90-something% of the displays being used were VESA 400. And so it's like, we could make a very elegant, simple stand just with 2 columns that go right up to the VESA 400 position, and use all that extra space and lack of visual clutter that, a typical Cartesian array of metal for a universal mount would create. And that was the original premise of that AV cart line that's done great over the years. In the past 18 months, we saw a trend. We saw a trend towards, is it okay if I mount a 105-inch display to this? Not according to the specifications. VESA patterns going everywhere. And then also just the nature of the devices. They're more likely to be putting a rally bar on there than a Nook plus a speakerphone, plus so the need to support just a whole array of integrated components on a typical cart has decreased, but the need to support larger and larger displays and displays of different kinds, and now across the product family, displays at radically different heights, like a confidence display at the ground, a wayfinder display up at a touch level. That plus budgets. What we were hearing from customers is when we sell a cart, it's usually a time-sensitive project and a budget-sensitive project. And they might have a crew flying to a town to install 10 carts in a day and get back to the airport and fly out. And so, just pain points over the years of, did they lose a tool? Did they lose a screw? Did they misthread something when they didn't have time to misthread something? So we challenged ourselves with the new product line, which we call Heckler Mobile Fleet, to make it toolless, make it threadless, make it hardwareless. So it does just click together. You can build a rolling stand structure in 2 minutes or less, and then mounting the display is also toolless. It just makes it fun to build these carts, and then all these carts break down to radically small packages because our corporate customers are looking to standardize on their rolling stands and ship them, put it into their global standards. And then you better have distribution in Kuala Lumpur because we have an office there and we're going to need 30 of them there. With very small packages, we can DHL ship those to any location at a very low cost. So really thinking through all pain points and how the markets has changed and how the builds and technologies have changed just led us to a whole other line of rolling stands.
I mean, it's speed and cost, right? I mean, you're checking both those boxes because when you think about, post-pandemic, video's going everywhere. You can deny it all you want, it's happening. Video's going everywhere. And then it's not just for video conferencing, to your point, it's wayfinding displays and digital signage. And if you can basically assemble it yourself, or even two people in the office that have no technical skill that can almost like Lego bricks, pop it together with a toolless design, then you can now go really fast because you know how long it takes to do 1,000 rooms or 2,000 rooms in individual rooms that, maybe it has to be hung on the wall. Maybe you need, maybe it's a union city that you have to get electrical runs or someone. There's just all these things that create a significant amount of burden on both the cost and time. And those are the two check boxes for me, which is why, customers love it. And the fact that you have such a long line of, how many devices? Is it 7 devices?
Currently identified publicly is 6. Okay. It's a confidence display stand, a wayfinder stand, a breakout stand for those lounge areas.
Yeah.
The standard collaboration stand for your typical build up to 75-inch displays, an XL stand for up to 105 21x9s, and a dual display for up to dual 75-inch.
Wow. And you said people have asked for triple. I'm struggling.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's so big. How are you going to move this thing then? Maybe it's not going to be moved around. Maybe it's just, hung up nice, neat, and tidy in a corner.
Or modular. Just connect 50 together if you want. Yeah. We've bringing the product in pre-production form to Infocom was fantastic. We came back with, okay, they like the 6, but what about these other 5 scenarios? So yeah, it's a recipe. The connection system that we developed is patent pending because, we just could not find anything else that was constructed this way, and it's a very useful construction system. It's a very simple recipe now to develop all sorts of structures for. Yeah.
That's great. This is a lot of great information. If a customer or partner or distributor wanted to learn more about Heckler Design, what's the best place to find you guys?
I always remind people, ask your favorite AV professional and Heckler dealer what they like about Heckler and what products that Heckler makes would fit their applications. They are our front lines in the field. Beyond that, there's always hecklerdesign.com. All the products are there and all the information's there. We have some 3D configurators for things like our lecterns if you'd like to imagine your university's favorite lectern configuration. There's a lot to play with there. And then, always reach out to us directly. We love hearing directly from potential customers and the existing customer.
That's great. And obviously you're going to be at ISE next year, right? In February?
Yeah, we will have a booth at ISE for the first time. So awesome. February, Barcelona. Come see us.
It'll be great to have you there. And then obviously at Infocom as well. So those are the two big, AV forums that you're at usually, but obviously the website's easier. And then, like you said, all the AV enthusiasts know who you guys are because we've just been in the industry for the last couple of years and have done this great. So Dean, thank you for sharing your perspective and your story. It's really great. Just thank you for being on the show today and obviously being a great partner.
Well, Nathan, thank you very much. Really enjoyed being here.
Absolutely. And that's it, folks. That is another episode of Unscripted. See you all next time.